Harihi Om Tatsat. Harihi Om Tatsat. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru. Madhya Hridaya Kashe Sadanandamayo Guruhu Udetu Satatam Samyak Ajnana Timirarunaha. Harihi, Harihi Om Tatsat. Jaya Guru. Swamiji, in the Mahabharata story, what we have heard is Draupadi laughed when Duryodhana fell in the Indraprastha Palace. Draupadi is a great woman, but is it right on her part to have laughed instead of being sympathetic with Duryodhana, who is her husband's brother, when he fell? Do you know our country is great? People are also great. You should understand that many people are devoted to God and they are very fearful and respectful towards Him. But when we start critically analyzing, there are some very good hearts and minds in our country who will always speak truth, unmindful of about whom they say. There are two proverbs or one proverb in our country, in Tamil particularly, Sida Azhagala Katta, Draupadi Chirichu Katta. That is, Sida was spoiled and lost herself because of her beauty. And Draupadi because of a misbehavior by laughing at Duryodhana falling. This is the answer for you. When a person, especially he was missing, the floors were so polished that when he went there, he lifted his dhoti thinking that he will get fed. Who will not smile? Who will not laugh? And then when he went to another area full of water, then he hit by previously, he felt that it was dry and walked. So he slipped and fell. So she was looking at it from the veranda. So it was a mistake, certainly a mistake. But great people also can commit mistakes, and mistakes can occur. This is the lesson that our epic authors have to teach you. Our Maharshis are notorious for their open talk. They will not mind. They will bring God, and if God also commits a mistake, that also they will say. See, we have a conversation in Srimad Bhagavatam where Lord Mahavishnu came as a Narahari in order to confront Prahlada's father, and there was a terrible fight between them. Terrible fight. At one point of time, Hiranyakashipu had caught hold of Narahari and he was about to squeeze him. Somehow Narahari escaped. What is the idea? Narahari wanted to give Hiranyakashipu the joy of war encounter. So all that joy he sanctioned. He also gave him almost that point that I have won. That was done. All this was taking place in front of the sun, mind you. If you were the son and your father were treated like this, what will you say? Prahlada kept quiet. And after the father was slain, such a fierce form, nobody was able to approach Narahari. Brahma asked Mahalakshmi to go and appease him. She said, I cannot do. I have never seen such a fierce form. So I cannot think of going near him. Then Brahma decided the best will be to send the boy for whose sake the form has appeared. So he told Prahlada. Without any doubt whatsoever, he started marching forward. And first he prostrated before him. Just see, what he did was a simple and a full-fold prostration. When he prostrated and touched his feet, Mahavishnu had to bless him. So he bent low and put his hand on the head of Prahlada. And with that, all the fierceness vanished. Then Prahlada got up and started praising him. It is a long praise consisting of about 30 or 40 verses, I don't remember now. After all that was completed, Narahari started pronouncing his blessings. So he said, I am very pleased with you. Now ask for whatever boons you want. Is there any Mahavishnu? Was there any Hiranyakashipu? Was there any Prahlada? Was there any encounter between Narahari and Hiranyakashipu? None of these things we know. But Vedavyasa has written about them. Now he is writing the same story. Then when Mahavishnu said, ask for any boon that you want, then Prahlada said, my dear Lord, what are you saying? This is very bad. This is not becoming of you. I am a person belonging to the Asura dynasty and I have Asuric tendencies. I am already intimidated by it. I want to get away from all that. That is why I have resorted to you in full-fold devotion. In my devotion, there is no expectation. I don't want anything at all. There is no barter between me and you. There can be ordinary people who will seek the help of another, expecting that some help we will have from the other side. There is no such barter between us. So whatever you have said in the form of offering boon is wrong. It's not applicable to me. What do you say about it? Here is a devotee through whose mouth Vedavyasa says, Mahavishnu was questioned by the devotee. How dare you ask me for getting boons? I have sought under your feet, refuge under your feet, expecting nothing in return. Generally, Yajamanas, masters, tip the servants additionally so that they can get better service. And the servants also do additional work so that Yajamana will be pleased. You are neither an Yajamana nor am I a servant. We are neither merchants so that we take one and we give one. So what you have said is wrong. If you have said this to test me, I welcome it. It is good. Now, to please you and not to disappoint you, I am prepared to take a blessing. What is that? At no time in my life, desire should sprout in my heart. What do you say about this conversation? Only Paramahamsas will be able to write such things. Bringing God and making Him stand before you, bringing a devotee, making him stand before God, and then put forward this kind of a conversation to enlighten the people. So that is how these comments also have come in our country. What Draupadi did was certainly ungentlewomanly, no doubt about it. Sita also has done mistake. Chapter 2, verse number 13 says, the soul has no death, but just a transition. To where? Scholars explain this supporting the theory of rebirth, that is, Janma after Janma. Please elucidate. Shobha, Hyderabad. Our Shastras do contain conflicting statements. Every level of Shastra will be contradicted by the next level. That will be contradicted by the still next level. And ultimately you reach the Upanishadic level where all contradictions meet and dissolve. Now in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about the self, the first self, which I already explained. Natvevaham jatunasam, natvam neme janadhipaha, nachaivana bhavishyamaha, sarve vayamatav param. He speaks about, there was no time when I was not, you were not, these people were not, all of you were not. And there will not be a time when we shall not be also. Now, are you going to accept this truth? If you accept this truth, evaluate everything else on this basis. If the self is never non-existent, where is the question of it getting born and getting dying? Now we say birth and death, taking our position on the body, not standing on the self. The moment you stand questioning, standing on the self, then all these questions will disappear. So Krishna speaks about an unborn and an undying self. He also speaks about a born and a dying self. Tell me, which one do you like to have? Then why discuss the other things at all? It's all gibber, nonsense. But our truthsayers have got one important responsibility. When a person asks for a clearance for a doubt, his mind is agitated. That agitation should be set at rest. Therefore, they will give such an answer that he will be appeased. Because his questioner has to be appeased. Question apart, unless he gets an answer to the question. Suppose somebody asks me, he is about to die, one of you, Swamiji, I like the diksha I have got very much, I am doing. I know that I will reach a state of full clarity and wisdom, so I have not been able to get. So will you please tell me what will happen to me when I die? I will say, why are you doubtful? You will be born in a very good place and you will start from where you have ended, and next janma you will be liberated. This is what I will tell you, knowing very well that it is a blatant lie. It is a lie, but it has got a purpose. So we have not merely to give clarity, we must also give consolation. So clarity sometimes will not be able to be swallowed by all people. So we will dilute the truth and then present it in a beautiful manner so that the listener feels comfortable. Now the question is, tell me whether the soul is born at all in the first instance. If there is a soul and it is different from matter and energy, that soul is never born. It is never going to die. This is the fact. Now suppose I tell you about death. I am asking you one question. Is there anybody in this world who experiences his birth? Who experiences his death? Then why are you worried about them? Your life is experiential. Neither birth nor death is experiential. Then why create all the confusion about it? What is the reason? You tell me. You are always asking questions about your experienced phenomena. Is birth your experience? Nor death? Then why argue about it? Simply drop. Ask questions about life. Never about birth, never about death. Because nobody has experienced his birth. and nobody has experienced his death. Then why are we asking questions about them? M. Shivaraja, Malaysia. Jai Guru. Pranams to Swamiji. In the essential concepts in Bhagavad Gita, Swamiji has made a distinction between verse 56 and 57 of chapter 15. In verse 56, it is reliance on the Supreme. Swamiji says there is one element of ego, whereas in 57 it is complete renunciation to the Supreme. Of the two, is there a choice for the seekers? Sarvakarmanya sada kurvano madvyapashraya and chetasa sarvakarmani mahisanyasya matpara. Now, what is his point? There is an element of ego, reliance on the Supreme, whereas in 57 it is complete renunciation to the Supreme. I shall explain it. Will you be with me as I speak?
Yes.
Sarvakarmanya abhisada kurvano madvyapashraya. He says, always be doing all kinds of activity, but anchored in me. If you are doing all kinds of activity anchored in God, tell me who will be doing the activity? Then why are you worried? God is doing the activity. He is quite conscious, quite able to look after everything. Keep quiet, be going on doing. Do you require any renunciation then? Or this itself is renunciation? What is renunciation? Renunciation of what you have and who you are. So it is renunciation of possessiveness and ego. In sarvakarmanyapi sada kurvano madvyapashraya, is not this achieved there? You are resting on the Supreme. And then whatever is being done, it is done by whom? Then why are you worried about it? You are not doing. Everything is done by God. So do you need renunciation? I am completely anchored in God. And whatever is being done, because I am anchored in God, it is done by God. If it is done by God and you are not doing, what renunciation do you have to do? You renounce what you possess. Here you don't possess anything. So where is the scope for renunciation? So is it not equal to renunciation? Or is it not a step which makes renunciation redundant? Is it clear? Where is the conflict then? Here, chetasa sarvakarmani mahisanyasya matparaha. By your mind, you renounce all your actions in me and remain interested in me. There also, by virtue of renunciation and interest, you become godly. There also you have become godly. Here also you become the same godly. So what is the difference? Certainly he has a choice in the matter. Which line of thinking is suitable to him and which he will adopt. You are anchored in God. Anchored in God means what? Is your God a mustard? So that when you anchor, major part of your body is outside God. So you are inhering in God. Maybe you are doing several activities. As long as you are inhering in God, the responsibility becomes God's. That is the whole problem is solved. In the other one, you have the ego of doing. So you say, mahisanyasya matparaha, 2 words are used. You are conscious that you are working. But all your work you renounce. And renounce to whom? To renounce to God. I give all my work, I am not doing, I don't want any result. Even the doership I give you, the results also I give you. So who receives the results? And who will look after them? And if there is a problem? And matparaha, consider me to be supreme. If you consider me to be supreme, you are there and you are considering many things and something is supreme. So, if God becomes supreme and you renounce everything of yours to Him, are you not free? Now, whichever is acceptable to you or easy to you, you accept. Is there any choice? Yes, there is a choice. That is why two propositions are set. I would like to learn the verse that Swamiji had chanted at the end of yesterday's night satsang. Can you explain the meaning of each word briefly? Sloka is samvedya varjitham anuthamam ekam aadyam samvidpadam vigalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishta kalanarihita kriyam tu kurvanna kartrupadametya samodita shrihi. Let it be. Who by glances, words and touch is able to generate in the disciple a direct experience of transcendental soul is the deshika or Sadguru. Please explain meaning of deshika. It's already explained here. The deshika is already explained here. And what further explanation do you want me to give? See, we generally speak traditionally of three kinds of diksha or initiation. Three kinds of diksha or initiation. One is anava, another is shakta, the third is shambhava. In the anava diksha is one where some nama or mantra is given and you are asked to repeat this mantra. In Kali Santaranopanishad, the Mahamantra Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. It consists of 16 namas. If this Hare Rama Mahamantra, if you chant 45 crores of times, you will get liberated. 45 crores. The other day I calculated, I don't know whether my calculation is correct. On an average, if you start chanting 5 to 6 hours, 7 to 8 hours, it will take 20 full years. So if you chant the mantra for 20 years, don't you think all the transformation you will get much more than even what Ratnagara got as Valmiki? So this is called the Anava Diksha. The Shakta Diksha is something which Tantric people practice. See, they are given to very abominable practices like going and meditating in the cremation ground, taking the dead bodies and doing some exercises with them, and many things. They openly, with knowledge of people concerned, have cohabit with women, sometimes exchange and all that, they are disciples. All these are taking place. I am told even today it is in vogue in some places. Now, they try to generate some mystic experience in the body of the disciple. That gives him a faith, a confidence, and he starts doing sadhana, whatever they say. In the Shambhava, Brahma Vidya is the point of instruction and infusion. Brahma Vidya. In Brahma Vidya, the Diksha giver is trying to tell the disciple that you are not the body, you are the soul. You have a body, but you are not the body. So try to experience this presence in the body, not body, presence in the body, the power of animation. And by virtue of his glances, his words, his utterances, very rarely his touch also, he tries to transfuse the personality of the disciple. These are the three forms of Diksha. And in the Shambhava Vidya, they say, Darshanat, Sparshanat, Shabdad, Kripaya, Shishya Dehake, Janayedya Samadesham, Shambhavam Sahi Deshika. By looking at him, by touching him, by also speaking words to him. He who is able to generate a soul inspiration, S-O-U-L, soul inspiration in the disciple, that person is called deshika, because he generates a samadesha. Therefore, he becomes a deshika. I think this is an explanation of deshika. Samvedya varjitham anuthamam ekam aadyam samvidpadam vikalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishta kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan akartrapadametya samodita shrihi. If you can dissolve this verse into your heart and mind and intelligence, dissolve it, and then go on chanting it or remembering it, tuning it to yourself, singing, you will find, you will achieve what you want, a liberated stage. It is explaining what this inner presence is. Samvedya varjitham anuthamam ekam aadyam or aadyam ekam. Samvedya varjita. We are using a word drishya and drashta. Drishya means the visible. Drashta means the seer. The visible is clearly understood. Everything outside is visible, including your body. The drashta is within the body, not drishya. So within the body, you have the concept of drishya and therefore the concept of drashta also. If the darshana is taking place within your body, what becomes the drishya and what becomes the drashta? How many things are within your body? Only one. That one presence, can it be drishya and drashta separately? Huh? Answer me with your intelligence. Everything is within our body. There is no space for a second entity to be there. So whatever we think as second, third, fourth, fifth, etc., they do not occupy any physical space inside. So can there be an entity without occupying a physical space? All the gross rules and laws are not applicable to consider and evaluate the phenomena that take place within your body in the sphere of consciousness. Have you followed me? See, whatever rules are applicable to the gross objects outside, will they be applicable to what are the things inside your body? This is not a very simple proposition. Here are gross things with 3 dimensions. Now there are a number of rules and laws pertaining to them. Will they apply to the thoughts and emotions within your body? So very simple. And inside your body, can there be many things? Huh? Though, what is it that you call visible? And what is it that you call seeing and seer? It is all ideas expressed. But the whole phenomenon is only one. So he says, samvedya varjitham. Get away from your mind the idea of objectivity and objects. If all your experiences are inner, how do you call them objective? Are they subjective or objective? Subjective. And you cannot call them subjective because we use the word subject and subjective as a counter to objects and objective. So, when all objects are left aside, because we only have inner experience of objects, our experiences are inner. The experience may be of objects, but once you understand that the experience is subjective, in the subjective sphere within the body, can there be a subject seer and so many objects seen? Is it possible? So get rid of that idea. When you get rid of that idea, you are going beyond subject and object. You are going, and that becomes the super excellent one, anuthamam. And that is the primordial ekam. And that is the beginning before creation. Whatever was there, it is that. That is where you go during your sleep. Your sleep, you go there. The primordial one. Samvidpadam. That is called the samvit, the consciousness. Consciousness is not the mind. Consciousness is not the thought. Consciousness is not emotion. Consciousness is not intelligence or intellectual functions. Consciousness is the source from which all these things seemingly result. Even the subject-object concepts are created by consciousness. The distinction also is created by it. Substance-wise, there is only one consciousness. It does not become the object. It does not become the subject. It does not feel. It does not have emotion. Nothing. Samvidpadam vikalanam kalayan mahatman. He addresses Sri Rama as a Mahatma, high-souled, because you have been listening to me. O high-souled Rama, vikalanam kalayan. It is something devoid of parts, without any part. It cannot be imagined. It cannot be thought of, conceptualized. Such a thing you have to ponder over, contemplate upon. And this contemplation upon the primordial, supreme, transcendental, subject-object different presence will make you what? Hridyeva tishtha. As long as you are contemplating, the contemplation being an inner exercise, where are you seated? Outside or inside? And that too where? You are seated in your own heart. Kalanarahitaha. Once you are able to understand that consciousness devoid of all these, and you constantly get seated in it, kriyam tu kurvan. Let the body do whatever it likes. Don't think about it. As you are breathing, as the heart is beating, lungs are doing respiration, let it be. You are not conscious of them. So far as you are concerned, you are the experiencer of everything. Kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan akartrapadametya samodita shrihi. Akartrapadametya. To be so is to reach a state of non-doership. Where is the question of doing? We are speaking of activity in the sphere of objects. Activity is in the sphere of objects. Inside the body, Bharat, can there be an activity? So, inwardly you do nothing. Agartrapadametya samodita shrihi. When you reach such a state, your mind is filled by shamaguna. Shamaguna means what? Peacefulness arising from non-desire. What? What will you desire? It is just like desiring the reflection of yours. You stand before the mirror and you see another person and you are aspiring to get hold of him. There is nothing like that. Samodita Shrihi, graced by the great quality and excellence calls quietude, complete non-desiringness. Reach there. You know what? The most important word here is Hridyeva tishtha. Be seated in your own heart. Be seated in your own heart. Why did Bheeshma, a man of great integrity and high dharmic values, remain a silent witness to Draupadi's disrobing incident? This is a very, very crucial question, and I am yet to find somebody who will agree with me when I argue it. Bheeshma wanted to interfere, but he had no right. Yudhishthira had willingly staked Draupadi. As a result of which, Draupadi was snatched by the opponents. This is the situation. In that situation, how can Bheeshma say you should not touch her? It was Yudhishthira who staked. He staked her. And he has accepted the fact that she is lost. On that basis, they are claiming proprietorship over Draupadi. As long as that point is not resolved, how can you say? How can you interfere? So he says, I cannot interfere. But Draupadi raised a dispute. That dispute, he said, is correct, but I cannot give an answer. Yudhishthira has to answer it. This is what he said. So I say, justice in the hands of torture. This is what I have captioned it in our series of articles in Vicharaseti. Acha, it is not easy, you said. Easy. Nothing is easy in this world. But I find this is the most easy and comfortable position. You tell me, is it to foster ego and foster mamata and then suffer in the hands of these? Or is it better to be free of ego and free of possessiveness so that you can be comfortable? Which is easy? Then why do you say it's difficult? Can you tell me one question? When I ask you, answer it. Where are you seated? On the floor. Where is this floor seated? Where is the earth seated? Where is that seated? You cannot say, I don't know. Every object has to be seated on something else. So the whole universe and space should have some support. If the whole world is seated on that support, you are only a part of the world. Where are you seated then? Why are you referring to these intermediate factors? See, if this answer you have, that is more than sufficient. What is supporting the space? The space should be upon something. So all the objects are ultimately not supported by an object. Then they are supported by something different from an object. Now what is different from object in your understanding? So the whole object universe is supported by the subject. And tell me whether you are the subject or the object. Then finished, the whole problem is over. Are you able to be conscious that you are a subject? And this subject is the source of all objects. And what you call God is only a synonym of the subject. So do you have to become the subject? Or you are the subject? If you are the subject, I really don't know what you are trying for. It's a fact. It's a truth. A truth can only be understood. When you know the truth, you know it. You don't have to make it. You don't have to hold on to it. You cannot hold on to this truth. This is a truth to be recognized, apprehended, comprehended, realized. Realize it, that's all. Realize it by what? Initially by intelligence, ultimately by experience. You tell me every day when you sleep, where are you resting? Are you resting on any object? Then if at all you are resting, it is on a subject. That subject is what supports you. Does it support you only in sleep or also in wakefulness? Because you say, I slept, and you say, I am wakeful. So in the wakefulness and sleep, the same I is there. So the support also is the same. The support is clearly revealed in sleep. So in wakefulness also, as you will have been resting or you had rested upon the subject, here also you are resting upon the subject. It is a fact, my dear souls. It's not an option. It's a fact. With all your intelligence, holding big jobs, American people and all that, you cannot accept this and be like that. You question yourself, why am I not able to hold on to it? Then you will get the answer. Why did we take up sannyasa? You tell me. Huh? Why did we take up sannyasa? Sannyasa will create an environment where our Swamiji will tell you that when they were coming along with me in their normal clothes, when I am there, they will discuss spiritual things. The moment I get away from the car, they will light the cigarette. The people who come, when I am there, they will not smoke. The moment I get away from the car and Swamiji is seated, so they found that this is wonderful. When Swamiji is there, they don't do. The moment he gets away, they get freedom. So to take sannyasa means to clearly appear before the others also that we are a spiritual lot of people. And only spiritual seekers will come to us. The others will not come. And they will discuss only spiritual subject. If they discuss other subjects, we can question them, scold them if necessary. They will not mind. So sannyasa is only to trap yourself. Either you trap yourself or you are taking up enlightened sannyasa. It is simply to live a natural life in the light of the truth that you have realized. It's a very natural life. All these are artificial lives. So necessary, take sannyasa. Who told you not to take? Otherwise don't talk. Say, I want only diluted truth. Samvedya varjitham anuthamam ekam aadyam samvidpadam vikalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishtha kalanarahitah kriyam tu kurvan akartrapadametya samodidashri kurvan akartrapadametya samodidashri. Harihi, Hari, Hari. Harihi.